All right, YouTube, we are back with another episode of Goat Talk TV 225. Mm, yes, sir. All right, on this episode, we'll be discussing the young brother Karmelo Anthony, and I don't mean the ex-basketball player Karmelo Anthony. I actually mean Karmelo with a K. Now, I didn't speak on this incident because I didn't know about this incident and its details. Well, I heard about the incident, but I didn't know about its details. All right, so basically, long story short, you have a young black male named Karmelo Anthony with a K, and you have another Caucasian male. I forget his name. I just heard it last night watching the interview that passed. Karmelo ended up stabbing him during a track meet. But like I said, I didn't know about the situation and what it entailed. So I was trying to get more information before I spoke on it. But from what I'm hearing is that Karmelo says that he stabbed the football player who so happened to be white, stabbed him in self-defense, right? So here's how the story went, if I'm saying it right. The young man had a knife on him. I don't know if he was quote unquote being bullied or messed with by these guys, because it was two brothers, one older brother that played football and another brother. So I honestly didn't know what it was about until just now. So long story short, it's a track meet. I don't know if it involved the community and members of the track team or just the school's track team, but they had a track meet and it begins to rain. And when it begins to rain, there are tents everywhere. So from what I'm hearing about the story, Karmelo goes to seek shelter from one of the tents because it's raining, right? Now, in the midst of doing that, you have the young man that plays football. Those who know who watching this video, they know the other person's name who has been claimed to be a victim. So Karmelo is in the tent. It begins to rain. It begins to rain. He goes to the tent looking for shelter, and two Caucasian males approach him. One being a deceased football playing brother, and another brother that was there. So basically, a conflict starts to go down, right? Basically, saying they approached Karmelo saying, "Hey, you're in the wrong tent. Get out this tent." Now, as you know, I'm hearing that the older brother that passed plays football and is a decent sized individual, young man. Feel what I'm saying? I don't know his height. I don't know if he was 6 foot. I don't know. I know that was in high school and stuff like that. But I'm thinking he's like 215 pounds. So that's That's a nice sized individual. That's 40 pounds heavier than I am. 30, 40 pounds heavier than I am. I'm like 180 something, close to 190 at times. Weight goes up and down. Um, Somehow a conflict goes down behind the tent situation. Now, what I'm hearing between the conflict, um, Carmelo, this all happened in the state of Texas. We all know state of Texas has stand your ground. You don't have you don't it's within your rights not to have to flee. You have the right to meet force with force. You have the right to stand your ground, right? Why he had a knife on him already? What type of knife it was? The purpose of the knife? Don't know. But a conflict goes on where they try to forcibly remove him, and Carmelo ends up stabbing him, right? Now, people are saying, why is it called self-defense? Right? If he already had the knife, already had this and had that going on. Some people are saying, hey, it was premeditated. Which I don't think so. These days, motherfuckers have shit on them regardless. It doesn't necessarily have to be for someone. But anyway, so you got people saying it was premeditated. People were trying to make it a race thing. And I'm also hearing that the younger brother is not too far off from the size of the older brother. And I'm hearing Karmelo with a K. Karmelo Anthony is about 160 pounds. So that's like 20 pounds less than I am, give or take. So that's pretty slim, especially if you got two individuals that are both over 200 pounds, right? And one is an athlete. You could try to run, right? The fight or flight mentality, you could try to run, but like I said, you'll be trying to run in the rain against athletes. Who knows? But altercation happens. Carmelo ends up stabbing the young man, and he passes. And it's a whole conflict of whether it was premeditated or was it self-defense. Like I said, Texas, Alabama, Louisiana, Mississippi, Florida is different from other states. You could carry firearms without permit, and you have stand your ground laws. So I don't know the exact true guidelines of stand your ground, right? I know if you feel that your life is in imminent danger, you have a right to protect yourself, including using deadly force, lethal force. So it's a whole thing. Who do you believe about what happened in that situation? You feel what I'm saying? So honestly, I feel like it's a shame because it's two young men and it had to end up in this way. But we are living in a different time now. The use of weapons, the access and accessibility to weapons is different now. Everyone has a weapon. Everyone's mind is to basically use deadly force, So you got someone using deadly force to protect their lives. That's the tricky part. You know, um, rest in peace to the young man that passed. I heard that the brother is basically sticking up, of course, for his brother, saying it wasn't Karmelo Anthony in a self defense manner, and it was just an attack. But I don't know how many 160-pound, because you could see he's slim. I'm a slim person, and he's slimmer than me. I don't know how many 160-pound guys will decide to take on a 200-plus-pound football playing athlete just cause. And you got your brother with you. You know, so it's a whole tricky thing. I hope Karmelo doesn't face any true uh I hope he doesn't face any real true punishment behind this, even though someone passed. I'm hoping that it was self defense, you know. But here we are, we have another black male in the system. Um he has support and everything, but it's just a matter of what the law is going to look at it as, because I think he's still technically a juvenile. So that's another thing. Will he be charged as an adult? Will he be charged as a teenager, a juvenile? Will it be self-defense? What will it be? You know. But like I said, it's a shame that a young man feels the need to have to use deadly force to protect his life. But in these days, man, you hear about motherfuckers fighting, then someone hits the ground, hits a curb, hits this, and ends up in a coma. You know, these days, you think it's just a fight, and the person ends up getting beat to death. You know, when does it stop? So I feel like, man, just fighting in today's world, it makes no sense, because you know what comes from it. The dangers are coming from fighting with someone. It's deadly. It's dangerous. So you have to be careful out here. Even when you're at school, they have school shootings and this and that. And when I went to school, people have weapons then. You know, and I'm not old or anything. It's been a couple of years over a decade since I've been in school. But even going to school, I've seen weapons. I've seen the knives. I've seen the guns. I've seen everything. You'll be surprised what people could use as a weapon. I've seen the drugs. I've seen this. I've seen that. You know. So it's just a whole, what really, truly, absolutely happened at that time. Because I don't think Karmelo this is some premeditated, he been bullying me, and I haven't heard that story. I've decided to stick up for myself and show this guy not to mess with me anymore. I'm sick of his shit type shit. No one said it was that. So now, you know, you just gotta sit back and wait and see how the case breaks down and everything. And once we realize and figure out what's going on with that, then you can kind of start making judgment. I'm not the type of person that likes to make judgment. I'm not the type of person that wants to speak on a whole lot of stuff without having some type of, you know, wherewithal what's going on. So, you know, like I said, here we are. So, you know, let me know in the comments, you know, who do you think's wrong in the situation? What do you know that happened in this situation? You know, and don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, man. And as this case starts to break down and develop, you know, then I'll be able to come back on this topic and speak on it again, and we'll go from there. Any more updates? So if anybody out there that's watching this video and you have anything that you would like to say, anything that you would like to add, or stuff that you know, heard, you read over this case and this and that, drop it in the comments, man. And I'm gonna just keep an eye on the case, because at the end of the day, someone did die, and it's two lives. There's one life that got lost, and one potential life to be lost to the system if looked the wrong way. So how they gonna look at it? Are they gonna try you as an adult, juvenile? It's self-defense. It's hard. It's hard when you got two juveniles getting into it and someone ends up dead. It's a tricky case because really it's the family that gets left behind. One family with a son that's trying to fight a case and wondering what's next to come, and another one is past, and you won't be able to talk to him again. So this is just a sad case and a sad scenario all the way around. So you just hope that it wasn't an attack and it was just self-defense, and just move on from the situation. Both, it's just a hard thing to think about, and it's a hard thing to unwrap because, like I said, it's not two adults. Adults, I could be like, man, I don't give a damn about no adult. But when it's juveniles, it's kind of like, damn, bro. Damn. Because I wouldn't get into this type of shit like that. So, y'all like this, y'all like the video and like everything about this shit, and we're going to be back with it.